underhyped, undiscovered, unappreciated. I'm talking about indie books and indie authors, and it's time they had their day in the sun. And that's why today I'm going to do my top 10 indie books I read in 2024. Let's do it. What's up, beasties? It's me, it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to the channel. You're looking lovely, looking marvelous, looking beautiful beasties, and I am glad you are here, and it's an exciting video. We are going to run down my top 10 indie book reads of 2024, and I read a lot of indie books this year. I kind of started getting into it when I first found BookTube, and watching BookTube, really started diving into it a little bit, and then since I started my own channel, I've really gotten into it. So I read a lot of indie books this year, probably over 30, maybe more, and then you throw in novellas and all that. I've read a lot of indie stuff, so these top 10 are nothing to sneeze at. They are fantastic. I highly recommend them. And then I've got 5 honorable mentions, of course, because you gotta have honorable mentions. So I'm excited to share these 15 books with you, and let you know about how awesome they are, but also the authors are fantastic people, and you should check all these books out. You will not regret it. So, without further ado, let's get into the list. Top 10 indie books of 2024. Bearded Book Beast style, baby! Alright, honorable mentions up first. Here we go. First up, we got The Ranger by E.H. Bradley. This is a lovely story. It's a great mix of a classic feel. Feels like that classic adventure quest fantasy, but then there's also some really good action and some dark twisted stuff in here. We got some magic thrown in, got a little romance thrown in, and it's a coming of age. There's all sorts of stuff in here, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I loved the feel of, sometimes it would slow down and it would feel like a classic adventure fantasy. And they would talk about the food they were making, and it would just feel so cozy. And then some scary, evil bad guys would come along. There'd be a fight, and somebody's getting their head chopped off or run through by a sword, and it's very grim and well depicted. So there was a good mix of things. It was a lot of fun. A great debut book by E.H. Bradley, and he's got a lot of cool things to come in the pipeline, so I'm excited to read more from him. Beautiful cover, beautiful book. Honorable mention 1 is The Ranger. Next up, we got Idyllic Stone by Alex Sherman. This was a fun one. I just finished up barely in the end of 2024. Maybe if it had more time to simmer, it might have cracked into the top 10. But it was a lot of fun. I had a blast with it. Another similar to The Ranger, had a very classic, cozy feel, coming of age story. It goes from a small dock town where everybody knows everybody to the high seas with like a seafaring part of it, and then an adventurous epic quest with people, a little bit of mystery, and it was just a lot of fun, a lot of adventure. I really enjoyed it. There's also some very scary things in here, some very high tense things that made you feel a little horror vibe to it when some of these creatures are stalking them, which was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it a lot. Loved the main character in this, and it was a lot of fun. Highly recommend it, and look forward to what Alex does next. And look at that cover, another beautiful cover. Next up, we've got Thrice by Andrew D. Meredith, book 1 in the Needle and Leaf series. This is a lot of fun, very well written. Andrew D. Meredith does a great job with characters. I really enjoyed this. I cannot wait to read the Collation Saga in 2025 and finish up Needle and Leaf. Going to be reading a lot of Andrew D. Meredith this year because he has some awesome stuff. And this was great. As a dad, as a parent, this whole parent dynamic was just really good. Awesome stuff, and I highly recommend it. It has a great father-son-esque relationship in it, and it's just so fun to be on this journey with these characters. Cannot wait for book 2. This was fantastic. And then my first ever lit RPG I read this year was an indie one, and it was by the fantastic Palmer Pickering, and that is Darktown, Level 1 of Dragon's Crawl, Tales of Temerity. So book 2 is coming out this year. Cannot wait for it. And I love this. It was very cozy, very fun, very well written. Love the characters, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the next book. I am excited to try out more Lit RPG because I like this so much. It was a lot of fun, and look at that beautiful cover. Awesome stuff. Finally, my last honorable mention, A Dirge for Cassius. This was awesome. Beautiful cover. A sci fantasy. Just really, I thought, pretty writing. Dives into emotions and how situations affect people. It deals with grief and depression. And it's just really well done. I liked it a lot. It's kind of a detective buddy cop, where the main character Cassius is partnered up with a younger inspector, and they don't see eye to eye a lot, and watching their relationship was a big fun part of it. There's a lot of dark, twisted stuff and evilness going on that they have to try to solve. People are being murdered in crazy magical ways, and it's just really good. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Well done. I cannot wait for the next book from Callum Lott. This was awesome. All right, and that gets us to the top 10. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Top 10 2024 indie books I read. Coming in at number 10 is Lost Souls by Ryan Skeffington. This is a sci-fi fantasy, but it really leans into the harder sci-fi stuff. It talks a lot about the technology and futuristic stuff, which is pretty cool. And he does just kind of drop you in. You kind of got to piece it together. It kind of flashes back and forward a little bit, and then you kind of settle into the current state of the story. Follow Maximus, who is the main character we follow, but we also follow some other characters as well. And he has kind of grown up more in the upper class, richer class, but he did grow up with a friend in the lower class, so he's friends with someone who's kind of lived more in the lower class and had to deal with that kind of stuff. And he has a big heart, and he wants to do what's right and help people, but he kind of puts his foot in his mouth a lot, and he tries to understand, but his approach sometimes can make people annoyed because they're like, you don't understand. You've lived such a good life, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just about kind of that story about this, our hero trying to figure out how to help people who haven't grown up with the advantages and privileges that he has. And it's set in this cool futuristic sci-fi world where people have technology that can really make it hard for those that don't to get ahead. And it's just very good. It's very good. I really enjoyed it. It has a lot of twists and turns. You think you know what's happening, and then it just drops everything you thought on its head. The ending is wild and really sets up a very exciting, unprepared future that you think you know what the series is going to be like, and then it's like, oh nope, I have no idea what's going to happen now. And it was a lot of fun, and Ryan is a fantastic guy. He was one of my very first episodes of Beast Friends Forever. I had a blast talking with him. He's become a real friend, and I'm lucky enough to be able to be reading the sequel before it comes out behind the scenes, and it's fantastic. So this was my number 10 indie book I read in 2024, and it is very good. And look at that cover. Stunning. Number 9, another very fun one, and that is Envoys of War by Dave Lawson. This is so much fun. You've got Jen and Corden on the front, are two of our main POVs we follow. The other is Tobias, a very grumpy mage, and the three of them together make for a fantastic story. There's plans on top of plans, twists on top of twists, turns on top of turns, lots of humor, lots of snark, and it is just a fantastic story. Jen and Corden are good friends, and I love their friendship and how it's not romantic at all. Corden is quite the ladies' man, and it's just a lot of fun. But they go on this quest because they're sent on this mission that's kind of a sham, because the people in charge of the group they work for think that Corden is a turncoat, that he's a spy, that he's selling secrets to other kingdoms, and they want Jen to keep an eye on him and prove if it's true or not. So she's caught in this, she's struggling because he's her friend, and she wants to make sure that she's not going to betray a friend, but she also wants to do her job and her duty. And then he's got secrets going on in this mission. Tobias comes along. He's got some secrets, and it all intermingles and just kicks off a fun, crazy, fast-paced plot that I highly recommend you go along for the ride with, because this is awesome. Invoice of War. Love the cover. Love the story. Love the author. He's fantastic. Definitely highly, highly recommend checking this out. Number 8, Riven Earth by Zamar Amir. Had him on Beast Friends Forever. Also, I actually have had... I've actually had every single author on this top 10 on Beast Friends Forever. Not too shabby, my friends. So, this book is awesome. You've heard me talk about it before on wrap-ups if you watch my wrap-ups, or my now called Briefly Beastly episodes. And it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. A very inventive idea. Uses nature. A beautiful writing, beautiful prose. Really dives into the characters, how they think, how things that have happened in the past and currently, how they react to them, the trauma and the emotions it causes in them, the things that people are willing to do to move forward. And he has some really cool nature-based creatures and beings and magic systems, and it's just a lot of fun. It can get pretty dark at time. I hear the next book is even darker, which I'm here for because I love the dark stuff. But look at this beautiful cover. The inside is just as beautiful. I highly recommend this. If you're looking for a really cool fantasy with something a little different than you're used to, you should check this out. Number 7. Bloodwoven by G.J. Terrell. This was so much fun. Absolutely loved it. You got our character Lynn here. He is a weaver or binder, and there is this cool magic system in here where they can use threads of magic to like tie and bind people and things. And it's just a really cool magic system. It's so much fun. It's connected with their blood, and it was just a lot of fun. So he is supposed to be escorting and protecting a couple who are connected to this magic system, and something terrible happens, and it kicks off this wild story where he's caught in the middle of it, and he suffers a grievous, grave injury, and to survive, he gets kind of his magic twisted against his will to save him, but now he's going to be an outcast, the thing that he's had to hunt down before, and it's just really good. It's really awesome. I highly recommend it. I love the character, and it's just really fun, well written, and I highly recommend it, as you'll hear me say all the time. But I don't know what else to say because I highly recommend it. This is fantastic. Book 2 is out now, Bloodbound, and I cannot wait to read it. Awesome. Awesome stuff, and GJ is an awesome dude. Number 6 is Platinum Tinted Darkness by Timothy Wolf. Book 1 in the Legacy of Bloom. This was fantastic. So much fun. It's like the Grimdark Avengers assemble. You've got this group of magical people, very strong, who protect the realm, and they protect the kingdom, and they have to work together. And it's really cool to see each person and what they bring to the table. And we get to follow each of them in different ways, and it's a lot of fun. But there's also, of course, because if you've talked to Timothy or you've seen him on anything, he loves the lizards, and there's awesome lizard people in here. And it's just one of those books that he does characters so well. It's hard for me to say who my favorite character is because I love them all so much. But there's a lot of action. It can be pretty dark at times. It deals with a lot of emotions. He writes characters great. It's just good. It's good. It's an awesome start to this trilogy, and he says that he thinks this is his weakest book, and if the trilogy just gets better from here, I cannot wait, because this was fantastic. I loved it. My number 6 indie book of the year. Number 5 is Wistful Ascending by J.C.M. Byrne. I love superheroes. I love space operas. I love sci-fi fantasy. Put it all together, you get this fantastic book right here. It's so much fun. We have our main character here, Rohan, who is awesome. He's funny, snarky. He's a little bit older, which is very cool. He's not just some young pup. He's been through life. He's been through some things. And he's a superhero. He's got powers. He's protecting the space station, spaceship, and the people on it. And it's just really cool. It's a fantastic story. If you like Peter Parker's snarky ways while he's fighting, or if you like Invincible, you're going to love this. It's a mix of all those things, and it's so much fun. I cannot wait to read the rest of the series this year. I'm going to binge it because I love this, and I want to get back into this world. Book 5 of his series just came out. Book 6 is going to be coming not too long after that. So it's an exciting time to dive in and get these beautiful covers and check out his world. It's awesome. Cannot wait to get back to it. Wistful Sending, Book 1 of Hybrid Helix, my number 5 indie book of the year. All right, number 4 is Falling into Oblivion by Aaron M. Payne, also known as Bibliotheory. He is awesome. His YouTube channel is awesome. Check it out down below in the description. But he's also an awesome author. This was one of my favorite reads of 2024. It was fantastic. Cyberpunk, detective, and a lot of people compare it to Batman just because he's kind of got that like lone wolf detective, BA, takes a beating, keeps on coming. But also, if you are a Batman comic reader and you liked The Long Night or The Long Halloween, this all takes place over one night, which is such a cool, creative decision. It's also a very cool cyberpunk world with lots of technology and modifications. And he's kind of an old-fashioned detective. But what I love about it the most is that he's an older detective. He's grizzled. He's been through a lot. But he has a wife and a kid at home, and making him a family man was such a cool dynamic too. Seeing an older protagonist who has loved ones at home that he's just trying to make a living to take care of. He struggles with bills and money. It's just fantastic. Absolutely loved it. There's some cool twists and turns in it, especially at the end, that make me really look forward to what is to come. And I love this. I mean, if you love cyberpunk stuff, you'll love this. If you love Dresden Files, you'll love this. If you love detective, mystery, murder thrillers, you'll love this. And if you love Batman, especially The Long Halloween, you will love this. It's really good. It's good stuff. So, highly recommend it. Look at that cover. Cyberpunk Dragons. Come on now. Fantastic. Definitely should check it out. Top 3. Here we go. Number 3. Favorite indie read of 2024 was Dark Bloom by Molly McCabe. This was fantastic. Zombie apocalypse. You've got two characters, Nick and Kate. Both have dealt with lots of emotional trauma. Both have some PTSD from the things that have happened in their lives. Nick is a former soldier, and Kate has dealt with abuse, and it is just fantastic. Watching them weave their way to find themselves in this new terrifying world with terrifying zombies and humans that are just as bad, people making bad choices left and right, watching them first go on their own adventure and then find each other, and flip-flopping back and forth between POVs to hear their story, and the flashbacks was just really well done. You really can connect with them both, as we're all broken humans. We've all been through a lot, and it's just a beautiful story for each of them on their own, finding their way in this world, but also finding each other, and this sweet, slow burn friendship and then romance develops, and it's just so well done. But don't think this is a romance story, because this is dark and dastardly. It's scary. It's very well done. And I cannot wait to see what Molly does next. Check this out. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. And look at that cover. Beautiful indie covers, let me tell you. Top 2. This whole top 10 was tough to try to put them in order, but here we go. Top 2. Number 2 indie book of the year was Sludge vs. the Labyrinth. I cannot talk right now. My man Sledge. This book is fantastic. So much fun. The chapters are quick and snappy. It has you just reading one more and one more and one more. The dialogue is very great. The banter's awesome. The characters are unforgettable. The action is so much fun and fast-paced. Basically, you have a character in Sledge who is right here with the sledgehammer, a big, burly, former basketball player, just can take hits and keep on coming. It's wintertime, harsh winter in Minnesota, and his former lover comes to him for help because someone is kind of stalking her, and she thinks they're trying to kill her. So he digs into it, and he ends up discovering this online game of sorts, a labyrinth where you go level by level and you can make more money. And if you do worse and worse things when you're given a target, it deals with the interweb and the deep web, and to see what people are willing to do for money is just grotesque. But Sledge enters the labyrinth to protect his former lover, and you find out from there as he goes deeper into it, there's lots of secrets, twists and turns, and lots of bloody good times and deadly foes, and lots of corruption that he deals with along the way that goes all the way to the top. So it's very awesome, a lot of fun. Cannot wait to see what Nick Horvath does next, and Nick is an awesome dude. This was so much fun. Love Sledge so much, and what I love about him the most is it's not just a fast-paced action fun adventure full of fighting and blood and gore. There's also a lot of heart to it, a lot of hope, some found family, and our main character Sledge doesn't just get the girl. He can be very very pig-headed and blunt. He's a blunt fighting instrument, and it portrays him in a very realistic way. Is he's imperfect. He makes a lot of mistakes. Even though he's big and tough, he gets his A kicked a lot. But he just keeps coming back, and he also does a lot of dumb things with his romantic interest, and he puts his foot in his mouth, and he does stupid things. He pushes her away. He doesn't know how to handle delicate emotional situations, and it's just very well done and a lot of fun, and I cannot wait for the next book in this series. This was fantastic. Highly, highly recommended. If you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely need to. And another beautiful cover. Number one book, my number one indie book of 2024, drumroll please, was Harbinger of Justice by Andrew Watson. My number one 2024 indie book that I read. And it was fantastic. As I said, as Andrew has shared that I said, because it's a pretty cool tagline. It is like Aladdin meets Venom meets Stranger Things. And let me tell you why if you haven't heard it yet. The world is a desert fantasy world, much like Agrabah. No. Yeah. Much like the world in Aladdin. It deals with low class and high class. You have street thieves, street rats, you could say, that are trying to make it and doing what they can, and they're getting imprisoned and taken out by these soldiers who patrol the streets and take out thieves and stuff, even though they're just trying to struggle to survive. That's where the Aladdin part comes in. But then you have a very cool shade magic, shadow magic, where our main character, Rai, has a shadowy being that's a part of him that he can talk to in his head, and it's so much fun to hear them banter back and forth. And then he can use that shadow. Say, for instance, he jumps off a building. The shadow becomes a bird. He can grab onto its feet, and he can coast down to the ground safely. If he needs to see what's going on around a corner, the shadow can go around the corner and check it out. If he's in a fight, the shadow can dart out and take someone out and disarm them and help him fight. And it's just so cool. So because of that part, it's like Venom, because it's in him and he can talk to it in his head. And finally, Stranger Things, because the shadow magic and some of the dark magic in this world comes through this portal they found under the city that goes into an upside-down-esque world where there's dark and dastardly demonic things. And it's just a lot of fun. It deals with good and evil, gods, Egyptian gods, and it's just so awesome, so much fun. I highly recommend it. The prequel novella is awesome. You can get it by signing up for his newsletter. And the sequel, The Black Mantle, is coming out in February. I'm reading it now, and it is awesome. So it's even darker, has everything I want and more from this book. So I highly recommend you checking this out ASAP. So there you go. There's my top 10 indie reads of 2024. I hope you enjoyed it, Beasties. If you have not read indie books, please do it. Check it out. They're fantastic. They're awesome. And the authors are all fantastic, wonderful people who are just chasing their dream. And they're doing a bang-up job coming up with some awesome stories, some amazing characters, and some gorgeous covers. And you need to get on the indie hype train because it is a lot of fun. And if you like watching my videos, you're going to see a lot of it because I got a lot more to come in 2025. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you had a great week. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you in the next video. And until I do, as always, devour those TBRs. Be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you.